Greetings, everybody. This is your boy, Legend Muyui. I'm back for another live playthrough of Mass Effect, the first one. So let's dive back into it. This was a very interesting week for me. I hope you had an interesting week yourself. Doing a lot of teaching at work, which I actually like. But I'm doing more work than ever. I don't take my breaks because I'm trying to help the new people be great, be better than me. So that's always a good feeling. But I'm back for a playthrough of this game. I really like this game. I like the dialogue. I know the first time I played this game, the dialogue made it seem like a movie, and then sometimes I'd be sitting there just waiting. Okay, I'm on a planet and I don't have enough, I think, electronics. So let's go to the codex. But like I was saying, when I first played this game, sometimes the dialogue would just be going so crisp and good and kind of feeling like a movie that I'd be sometimes sitting there, and then the dialogue choose section would come up, and then I'd have to click and be like, oh, this is a video game. All right, let's see what I got in my codex from last time. I got some things from the primary, so those will actually read. Do I got anything from oh, I got a lot from the secondary. Let's start from the bottom. Biotic training. Biotic implants and amplifiers only provide the potential to create coherent Mass Effect fields. Whether biotics can actually do so is largely determined by their training. Biotics must develop conscious control over their nervous system, sending specific electrical impulses to the element 0 nodules embedded in their nerves. They are taught to use their implants and amps with biofeedback devices and physical mnemonics. I think that's what it is. I'm not sure if this game ever had a typo, but I still think that's how you properly spell it. I'm not familiar with mnemonics. I know a lot of words, but when it comes to medical specific, yeah, that's my weakness. Specific gestures or muscle movements fire the proper sequence of nerves to activate a certain skill. Kinetics Industries pioneered biotic training with the Biotic Acclimation and Temperance Training program. Although BOT, that's how Alenko said it, did not achieve the desired results, many techniques taught there are still used today. Many people think tanks are trying to develop. Many human think tanks. Oh. Many human think tanks are trying to develop some form of biotic super soldier. Most are benign efforts to create more flexible troops. Others, less publicly known, are unapologetic attempts to create Knightsian Supermen? Knightsian? Yeah, I'm not familiar with that word. I know it's German, but that's weird. And this is funny. Think tanks is one idea, but if you don't know what a think tank is, it kind of throw you off. Many humans think tanks are trying to develop some form of super soldier. So you got some tanks going around thinking. That was kind of threw me off. Anyway, let's look at ships and vehicles. Okay, so we got. This is probably from when I talked to. Was it Presley? Could have been Presley. As positive or negative electric currents. As positive or electric current is passed through an FTL drive core, it acquires a static electrical charge. Drives can be operated an average of 50 hours before they reach charge saturation. This charge is proportionally to the magnitude of mass reduction. A heavier or faster ship reaches saturation more quickly. If the charge is allowed to build, the core will discharge into the hull of the ship. All ungrounded crew members are fried to a crisp. All electronic systems are burnt out, and metal bulkheads may be melted and fused together. The safest way to discharge a core is to land on a planet and establish a connection to the ground, like a lightning rod. Larger vessels like dreadnoughts cannot land and must discharge into a planetary magnetic field. The ship passes the charge from the drive core to the exterior armored hull, then dives into the magnetic field. See, all of this would be cool if they like had a video on it as well, something like that, something in the game that'll play this out. It's nice to know the information, but you kind of lose it as you're playing the game, especially because there's no real fighting in the ships. As the hull discharges, sheets of lighting jump away into the field, creating beautiful auroral displays on the planet. The ship must retract its sensors and weapons while dumping charges to prevent damage, leaving it behind and helpless. Discharging at a moon with a weak magnetic field can take days. Discharging into powerful fields of a gas giant may require less than an hour. Deep space facilities such as the Citadel often have special discharge facilities for visiting ships. See, all of that would be cool to see, and there's probably some of the wreckages that there are unexplained. It's probably due to something like this in the game. That'll be, kind of tragic because the people will probably die, but it'll be kind of interesting to kind of see everything that everyone goes through. And so they're just not mindless NPCs that are just dying, and you're like, well, I don't really know much about that character. Anyway, space combat and combat endurance. Heat limits the length and intensity of ship-to-ship combat. Starships generate enormous heat when they fire high-energy weapons, perform maneuvering burns, and run on-board combat electronics. And combat warships produce heat more quickly than they can disperse it. As heat builds within a vessel, the crew's spaces become increasingly uncomfortable. Before the heat reaches lethal levels, a ship must win or retreat by entering FTL. After an FTL, the ship halts, shuts down non-essential systems, and activates a heat radiation gear. Combat endurance varies by ship design and by the battle's location. Battles on the deep cold of interstellar space can go on for some time. Engagements close to a star are brief, since habitable worlds are usually close to a star. Battles over them are frantic. So this is weird. Space combat would be like miles and miles of fighting while they're firing at one another, but it seems like they can't go for that long. But in the deep of space, everything's cold, but when you get closer to planets, things are a little bit warmer. Still kind of vague. Starship's crew consideration. Cabins give each individual 10 cubic meters of space. On larger vessels, private rooms are common. As ships get smaller, the number of crew packed into a single wardroom increases. Asari prefer shared spaces even on large vessels, while Krogan territorial instincts makes it impossible for them to cohabitate even on the smallest ships. On smaller vessels, hot bunking is the norm. Crew members assigned to different watches share the same bunk. When one gets off duty, he wakes up the person in the bunk, while that crewman is on duty. The first gets his rack time. Spacecraft compartments can be isolated by air-tight doors in case of decompression. The cinematic vision of explosive of explosive decompression is fiction. Hold compartments either take enough damage that occupants are killed instantly or leak slowly enough that they are able to reach protective gear. Compartments are equipped with emergency life support apparatus, foolproof plastic bubbles with air bottles, small with stowed ELSA. Okay, that's emergency life support apparatus. Comfortably accommodates one individual inflated. Damage control procedure cuts off ventilation to burning compartments. Without oxygen to consume, fire dies in seconds. The compartment is repressurized afterwards for the crew recovery. Mass effect fields create an artificial gravity AGRAV plane below the deck, preventing muscle atrophy and bone loss in 0G. Large vessels arrange their decks perpendicular to their thrust axis. The highest decks are at the bow and the lowest are at the engines. This allows artificial gravity to work with the inertial effect of thrust. Ships can land arrange their decks laterally so the crew can move about while the vessel is on ground. Warships normally turn off the AGRAV system during combat, reducing the heat generation by systems and increasing combat endurance. To provide a point of reference for navigating a 0G floor are painted in 0G, floors are painted a different color from the walls and ceiling. Makes sense. And heat management's the last one under ships. Dispersal of heat generated by onboard systems is a critical issue for ships. If it cannot deal with the heat, the crew may be cooked within the hull. Radiation is the only way to shed heat into a vacuum. Civilian vessels utilize large, fragile radiator panels that are impossible to armor. Warships use diffuse radiation arrays, DRA, ceramic strips along the exterior of the armored hull. These make the ships appear stripped to thermographic sensors. Since the arrangement of the strips depend on the internal configuration of the ships, the patterns for each vessel are unique and striking. On older ships, the DRA strips could become red or white hot, dubbing tiger stripes or war paint by humans. The glowing DRA had a psychological impact on pirates and irregular forces. Strip radiators are not as efficient as panels, but if damaged by enemy fire, the ship only loses a small portion of its total radiation capacity. In most cases, a vessel's DRA alone allows it to cruise with no difficulty. Operations deep within a solar system can cause problems. A ship engaged in combat can produce titanic amounts of heat and maneuvering burns and weapon fire. When fighting in a high heat environment, warships employ high efficiency droplets, heat sinks. In a droplet system, tanks of liquid sodium or lithium absorb heat within the ship. The liquid is vented from a spray nozzle near the bow as a thin sheet of millions of micrometer scale droplets. The droplets are caught at the stern and recycled into the system. A droplet can sink 10 to 100 times as much heat as a DRA. Okay, a droplet system can sink 10 to 100 times as much heat as a DRA strip. Droplet sheets resemble a surface ship's wake through the water. The wake peels out of sharp turns, spreading a fan of droplets as the ship changes vectors and leaving a coolant behind. That will look cool. Probably looks cool. Anyway, so that's ships, man. There's a lot of things to get through. Planets and locations. Gregarian Station. The Gregarian Station is the largest deep space station built by humanity. A Bernal sphere Bernal sphere, designed with a 500-meter diameter habitable area. It was constructed beyond Pluto, nearly 80 astronomical units, 12 billion kilometers from Sol. Moving crew and material to this location bankrupted most of the backers. Gagarin was placed at the inner edge of the heliopause, the point at which the solar wind can no longer push back interstellar mediums. It was built to test a number of faster-than-light drive principles that theoretically could only occur in interstellar space. The station was nicknamed Jump Zero, as it was intended to be the jumping-off point for humanity's expansion into the galaxy. Shortly after the station was completed, the Prothean ruins were discovered on Mars, rendering the entire effort moot. After struggling to make profit for a decade, Gagarin? I want to put an R there because I want it to be Gregarian. Anyway, Gagarin was sold to the System Alliance in 2159 for a fraction of its construction cost. The Alliance refurbished it as a research and training center for the recent discovered biotic phenomenon. In 2169, the bot was shut down and Gagarin became a general research facility. Its remote location and intentional insulation from the extranet makes it popular for dangerous research, particularly in the field of artificial intelligence. Humanity's first stable AI, the Alliance-sponsored ELIZA, achieved sapience at Gagarin in 2172. Today, Gagarin Station has a permanent population of approximately 90,000. A plan has been proposed to move it to a gravitational stable barycenter between Pluto and the Charian Relay, allowing it to serve as a gateway facility between the Sol and Arcturus systems. The high cost of safety moving its mass has delayed this indefinitely. Interesting. Okay. Humanity has encountered many galactic species. Wars have been few, but mistrust is rife. Politically, the Alliance is a peaceful trade partner of the Turians. As a practical matter, however, there is simmering antagonism and bigotry between both populations over the First Contact War of 2157. The Alliance enjoys good relations with the Asari, though many privately believe the matriarchs are aristocratic and overcautious. The humans known better to The humans know better than to unconditionally trust any Solarian. Their shared restless ways make them natural allies against the conservative Taurians and Asari. The Krogan have no unified government, but individuals are generally treated as potential criminals. And a reputation most Krogans enjoy living down to. The Alliance has no formal contact with the Quarians. The migrant fleet has not yet passed through any human-settled system. The Batarians are rivals for control over the Skyllian Verge. They severed their treaties with the Citadel to prosecute a colonial conflict against the Alliance officially. There is no war, but neither is there any peace. I think. Anyway, this is hashed out a little bit, I believe, in one of the DLCs, I think, for this game. The Citadel and Galactic Government. Okay. talks about CSEC. Citadel Security is a volunteer police service answering to the Citadel Council. The 200,000 constables of CSEC are responsible for maintaining public order in the densely populated Citadel. They also provide private suppression, customs enforcement, and search and rescue throughout the Citadel cluster. I didn't think there were other planets within the Citadel cluster. I thought it was just the Citadel there. Huh. That'll be interesting. I mean, you could have a lot of various stuff with the diversity of how the Asaris and Krogans and all the rest of the various species are living together on the Citadel. You can get your detective games. You can get your whatever you want type of games. Police enforcement game would be nice. Anyway, CSEC has 6 divisions. Enforcement, which is uninformed officers who patrol the Citadel and respond to emergencies. Investigation, detectives who puzzle out the truth behind crimes and bring perpetrators to justice. Customs, screens of thousands of passengers and cargoes, containers that pass through the Citadel's ports every day. Network deals with cyber crimes like identity and copyright thefts, hackers and viral attacks, and illegal artificial intelligence. This would be a nightmare when you talk about copyright theft. How in the world can they do that across the entire galaxy? You know, we even have problems on Earth. You know, like if the Japanese like does something to infringe upon some artist's thing, there's no one who's going to internationally go over there and like try to do anything. So how they do that, you know, throughout a galaxy, that's kind of weird. Special response deals with hostile situations, bombs, and heavy armed criminals. And the unlikely event that attackers board the Citadel, they are also the front line of defense, armed with military grade equipment. Patrol, I guess. Enforcement and patrol are different things. They're naval. Naval arms with ships stationed throughout the Citadel cluster. Unlike the other divisions, they are rarely seen at the Citadel, nor do they stay in one place long. Joining CSEC is prestigious. Joining CSEC is prestigious. Oh, applications must be sponsored by a Citadel counselor or the ambassador of an associate council race. Generally, applicants must have many years of distinguished service in the military or police force of their nation, but an inexperienced applicant with demonstrable talent will be fairly considered. CSEC and the Spectres are often at odds. Many CSEC members, notably current executor Venari Palin, believes that allowing Spectres to be above the law is a dangerous practice. The actions of Seren Arturius lends credence to this position. The Spectres, in turn, are aggravated when CSEC's dedication to procedure and due process hampers their investigation. I can kind of see where that comes in. You know, if you want to get the job done, you know, you should be able to get it done. But everyone needs checks and balances. Everyone needs to have some type of accountability. If not, then when someone decides to go rogue, who's going to check them, because, you know, they were always going off by themselves. So I can kind of see where that comes to play. Of course, checks and balances. Just that everything's going to take time. Unfortunately, that's how it is. Okay, I got a lot of stuff to go to. I think I did armatures and hoppers. Krogan with the genophage. The genophage bioweapon was created to end the Krogan rebellion. From the start, the Krogan had overwhelmed the council. Only timely first contacts with the Turians saved the council races. I thought the Turian was a part of the council. The Turians fought the Krogan to a standstill, but sheer weight of Krogan numbers indicated the war could not be won through conventional means. The Turians collaborated with the Solarians to genetically engineer a counter to the rapid breeding of the Krogan. The genophage virus gained the energy to replicate by eating key genetic sequences. Every cell in every Krogan had to be altered for the weapon to be foolproof. Otherwise, the Krogan could have used gene therapy to fix the artificial tissue. Once a genophage strain could find no more genes to eat, it would starve and die, limiting spin-off mutations and contamination. This created genetic flaw is hereditary. The Solarians believed the genophage would be used as a deterrent, a position the Turians viewed as naive. Once the project was completed, the Turians mass-produced and deployed it. The Krogan homeworld, their colonies, and all occupied worlds were infected. The resulting mutation made only 1 in 1,000 Krogan pregnancies carry to term. It did not reduce fertility, but offspring viability. The rare females able to carry children to term became prizes the Krogan warlords fought brutal battles over. Men always fight over women. I kind of think that's how wars are just generated. Anyway, the Krogans are a shadow of their former glory. While the rebellions took place centuries ago, there are constant reminders of the horrors of the genophage and of their inability to counter it. The release of the genophage is still controversial, bitterly debated in many circles. Man, the history in this game deserves a game. Krogan rebellions. After the Rachni Wars, you got the Krogan rebellions, the Rachni Wars. You know what happened to the what are those people? The Protheans. All of that just deserves a game. After the Rachni Wars, the quick-breeding Krogan expanded at the expense of their neighbors, warlords, leveraging their veteran soldiers to seize living space while the council races were still grateful. Over centuries, the Krogan conquered worlds after world. There was always just one more needed. When the council finally demanded withdrawal from the Asari colony of Lucia, Krogan overlord Credex stormed off the citadel, daring the council to take their worlds back. But the council had taken precautions. The finest STG operatives and Asari huntresses had been drafted into a covert observational force, the officers of special tactics and reconnaissance. The Spectres opened the war with crippling strategic strikes. Krogan planets went dark as computer viruses flooded the extranet. Sabotage, antimatter refineries disappeared in blue-white annihilation. Headquarters stations shattering into orbits, clogging debris rammed by pre-placed suicide freighters. Still, this only delayed the inevitable. The war would have only been lost if not for its first contact with the Turians, who responded to Krogan threats with a prompt declaration of war, being on the far side of the Krogan space. From the council, the Turian advanced rapidly into the lightly defended Krogan rear areas. The Krogan responded by dropping space stations and asteroids on Turian colonies. Wow. These worlds were rendered completely uninhabitable. This was precisely the wrong approach to take with the Turians. Each is first and foremost a public servant, willing to risk his life to protect his comrades rather than increasingly public war wariness. Krogan tactics stiffened Turian resolve. The arrival of the Turian task force saved many worlds from the warlords' marauding fleets, but it took developments of the genophage bioweapons to end the war. There were decades of unrest afterwards. Rogue warlords and holdout groups of insurgents refused to surrender or disappeared into the frontier systems to become pirates. Interesting. Oh, the Quarians. The migrant fleet has little The migrant fleet has little economic base, operating in a state of perpetual hand-to-mouth. While Korean ships include light manufacturing and assembly plants, they lack heavy industries such as refinery and shipbuilding. The fleet has tankers for water purification and oxygen cracking, but the space intensive nature of agriculture limits food production. A single disaster could destroy the fragile balance. The Koreans earn economic income in creative ways because the government is obliged to provide food, water, and air and medical support for every individual. The conclave strategically determines the course of the fleet to bring in resources and income. A species who suspects the migrant fleet is heading towards their space often offers gifts or of surplus starships, fuel, and resources to convince the conclave to alter course. As the fleet passes through a system, swarms of mining vessels work over asteroids and metals and siliceous materials and cometary bodies of water, ice, and organics. Korean miners are adept at locating and strip mining space-borne resources. This sparks conflict with corporations already working in the system. Large mining concerns spends millions of lobbyists and public relations portraying the Koreans as locusts, devouring the resources of the sources before moving on. The greatest assets of the Koreans is their rarefied skills. Most are experienced miners due to their life of perpetual salvage and repair. They are skilled engineers and technicians. More than once, the very corporations that lobby against the Koreans have made backroom deals with the fleet, arranging for skilled Koreans to fill space engineering jobs that other species would demand higher wages for. Koreans are widely hated among the working classes. The Koreans are coming to take our jobs is a common response to the fleet's approach. Oh my goodness. It made the Koreans seem like they were how some people view the Mexicans. This is horrible. All right. Got any more? Yeah, this is still got the council races. Anyway, their economy, the government. Due to Koreans' precarious existence and the need to enforce strict rationing, government is somewhat autocratic. The migrant fleet's operation are directed by the Admiralty, a board of 5 military officers who are advised by a legislative body called the Conclave. Each vessel in the fleet has the right to send representatives to the Conclave aboard the flagship. A number of representatives is based on crew size. Larger clans with bigger ships and more votes form a core of political blocs. Opposition comes from the Outriders coalitions with delegates from thousands of smaller ships. The Admiralty defers to the Conclave's decision in most circumstances. However, if all 5 members agree that the Conclave decision jeopardizes the survival of the fleet and cannot get the Conclave to address their concerns, they have the right to summarily overturn a legislative decision. After the Admiralty uses this extraordinary power, they must resign. If the Admiralty does not step down after using their veto, the rest of the military is obliged to arrest them. Each ship captain has authority over his vessel, but is advised by the elected civilian council, just as the Admiralty is advised by the Conclave. This relationship may range from cooperation to polite tolerance to outright hostility, but any captain who overrules his council without good reason is relieved of command by the Admiralty. Many Korean ships are owned by clans who pool their resources to purchase used vessels from pirate sellers. private sellers. Large ships are prestigious for big, rich clans, but a small ship means status for a small clan with enough personal wealth to afford a private vessel. Clan vessels' captains are not subject to dismissal by the Admiralty. Abusive captains are a family problem if they do not disrupt the operations of the fleet. And the migrant fleet. Oh man, it's a lot of reading. The migrant fleet is the largest concentration of starfaring vessels in the galaxy, sprawling across millions of kilometers. It takes days for the entire fleet to pass through a mass relay. When the Quarians fled their homeworld, the fleet was a motley aggregation of freighters, shuttles, industrial vessels, and odd warships. After 3 centuries, all of them have been modified to support large crews as comfortable as possible. As the Quarians achieved stability, they began weeding out the ships least suitable for long-term habitation, selling them and pooling their money to buy larger and more space-worthy hulls. This process is ongoing as vessels wear out and break down. While some ships enjoy dedicated cabins with full privacy and sanitary facilities, many more are former freighters whose cargo bays and containers are pressurized and dividing to family spaces using simple metal cubicle bulkheads. The Quarians enliven these austere spaces with colorful quilts and tapestries, which also help muffle sound. The day-to-day operations of the fleet, traffic control, station keeping, supply distributions, and so on, are under military jurisdiction. Though ship captains have the authority to deviate from their assigned positions and may leave the fleet at any time, they are assumed to do so at their own risk. As the migrant fleet moves around the galaxy, many ships split off to pursue individual goals, returning days or years later. Wow. The Asari culture, and this is probably because I spoke to Liara. Liara doesn't have that outfit. There must be another Asari. Because of their long lifespan, Asari tend to have a long view, not common in other races. When they encounter a new species or situation, the Asari are more comfortable with an extended period of passive observation and study than immediate action. They are unfazed that some of their investments or decisions may not pay off for decades or centuries. Matriarchs can seem to make an incomprehensible decision, but their insight is evident to their careful laid plans come to fruition. An interstellar relationship, this long view manifests in an unspoken policy of centrism. The Asari instinctively seek to maintain stable balance of economic, political, and military power. Traditionally, the Asari spread their influence through cultural domination and intellectual superiority. They invite new species of advanced developments to join the galactic community, knowing that their ideals and beliefs will inevitably influence the existing culture. That was a lot. All right. So, that was the secondary. Let's go to the ones that can actually read for me. Let's start with technology.
Biotics is the ability of rare individuals to manipulate dark energy.
We already did that
and
one.
create. An artificial intelligence is a self-aware computing system capable of learning and independent decision-making. Creation of a conscious AI requires adaptive code, a slow, expensive education, and a specialized quantum computer called a blue box. An AI cannot be transmitted across a communication channel or computer network. Without its blue box, an AI is no more than data files. Loading these files into a new blue box will create a new personality, as variations in the quantum hardware and runtime results create unpredictable variations. The geths serve as a cautionary tale against the dangers of rogue AI, and in Citadel space, they are technically illegal. Advocacy groups argue, however, that an AI is a living, conscious entity, deserving the same rights as organics. They argue that continued use of the term artificial is institutionalized racism on the part of organic life. The term synthetic is considered the politically correct alternative.
Wow.
Element zero can increase or decrease the mass of a volume of space-time when subjected to an electrical current. With a positive current, mass is increased. With a negative current, mass is decreased. The stronger the current, the greater the magnitude of the dark energy mass effect. In space, low-mass fields allow FTL travel and inexpensive surface-to-orbit transit. High-mass fields create artificial gravity and push space debris away from vessels. In manufacturing, low-mass fields permit the creation of evenly blended alloys, while high-mass compaction creates dense, sturdy construction materials. The military makes extensive use of mobility-enhancing technologies, with mass effect utilizing fighting vehicles standard frontline issue in most military forces. Mass effect fields are also essential in the creation of kinetic barriers or shields to protect against enemy fire.
Now, this is the one thing that I always wonder, if we're going to do like some type of faster than light travel, how are we going to like prevent stuff from like destroying our ships?
Faster than light drives use element zero cores to reduce the mass of the ship.
Let's come back to that later. It's a lot of reading. Let's take a look. I'm gonna do this. Sorry, diplomacy. I'm gonna go back to the Citadel and meet with Nasana. All right. Let's see how we do this. Go to the map. Return to the Normandy. Okay. Yeah, that's what I feel like doing with my neck. Yeah, Shepard. Got the right idea. Zoom out. Zoom out again. Zoom out again. Let's go to the Citadel. Yeah, so I didn't see any other planets here. We're talking about people patrol this. There's probably a planet somewhere. Alright. I just didn't want to put it in this game. Let's go to the Citadel. And I'm gonna land. I think I just gotta walk outside. I think I'm gonna roam around with Rex and Tali. Alright, so it's... What's up, Private? Oh. Some more stuff to be able to read. Lovely. I'm gonna go with Tali and Rex. Oh, I think...
Equalizing interior pressure with exterior atmosphere. Logged. The commanding officer is ashore. Exo Presley has the deck.
Yeah, this guy. I really don't like this one. Yeah, but let's do it.
Rear Admiral Mihailovic, 5th Fleet.
Commander Shepard, SSV Normandy.
You don't know who I am, do you, Commander? I command the 63rd Scout Flotilla. You and the Normandy were slated for my unit after shakedown. Then the Council got their paws, claws, tentacles, whatever. They got them on our ship, and you.
I still serve the Alliance, sir. As a Spectre, I can advance our interests to the Council.
You still know what color your blood is, Shepard? I don't begrudge the politician's decision to throw you to the Council. It's an opportunity. I do begrudge this over-designed piece of tin, though.
The Normandy is a fine ship, sir. She's served us well so far.
It's a gimmick, Commander. Useless in a stand-up fight. This experiment diverted billions from our appropriations bills. For the same price, we could have had a heavy cruiser. But no, we had to make nice to the Turians, throw money at a co-developed boondoggle. I'm here to make an inspection, Commander. Normandy is an Alliance warship. I intend to see she's up to snuff.
Normandy is an Alliance warship, but she's on loan to the Citadel. That means she's not in your chain of command.
I believe there's something wrong with my ears. Did you just contradict me?
Normandy is not legally part of the Alliance military. I can't allow you aboard without permission from the Office of Special Tactics and Reconnaissance.
Sophistry. You're talking like the Council, using the law to obstruct the Alliance. Have it your way, Commander, but expect me to file a report on this.
Go ahead, I'm a Spectre.
Binary Helix has settled out of court with a Krogan group that had accused the Genetics Corporation of fraud. The Krogan group had contracted Binary Helix to perform studies with a long-range goal of curing their genetic sterilization. The group later sued for a return of investment money when the study produced no viable results.
Okay.
Commander Shepard, sorry to bother you. This is Lieutenant Girard down in the docking bay. There is a woman here. She was rescued from Batarian slavers a few weeks ago. She is from Mindoir. I guess she was taken in the raid on your town.
She's been a slave for the past 13 years? Is she all right?
Not really. She's a little messed up. She got free somehow, grabbed a gun from one of my guys. Now she's holed up here in the docking bay. She says she wants to die. I hope you talk to her. It's a long shot, but you went through the same thing. The raid. I figured maybe you could talk her out of her tree.
I'm on my way, Lieutenant. Sit tight.
Anything you could do would be great. I don't want to. She's been through enough. I'll have my men stand by for you.
Man, that guy has my personality.
How can you fight your own people, Rex? There aren't that many of you left.
Anyone who fights us is either stupid or on Saren's payroll. Killing the latter is business. Killing the former is a favor to the universe.
Yeah, he wants to save a girl, especially when she's not doing well. Must be something within guys.
Commander, glad to see you.
Wish it were under better circumstances. Where is she?
Behind those shipping containers. I've got a sniper position, but I don't think we'll need him. She's only a danger to herself. We've got a sedative to calm her down, but we can't get close to her. Every step we take gets her more wound up.
You seem awfully worried about her.
I'm just doing my job, Commander.
I hope I don't need it. Tell your men to stand by.
Don't push her too hard. If she seems liable to pull the trigger, back off, or walk away. I am willing to wait her out. Good luck, Commander.
Alright, before I do this... Well, I can't do anything to increase my squad, so I guess I'm going in the way I am.
Stop! Stop! What are you?
My name is Shepard. Lieutenant Girard sent me to talk to you. What's your name?
Animals don't get names. The Masters put their symbols on her. Hot metal all over her back. She screams when they do it.
She was branded. That's messed up.
You're not an animal. Your parents. What did they call you? Do you remember them?
She remembers a lot of things. Talitha. They call her that. She doesn't remember the rest. Leave her alone.
How did you get here? Did you escape?
She can't escape. They have chains, wires, needles. You go too far, they take your brains away. Animals like her come. Animals with guns. They make the Masters explode. She tries to fix the Masters so they won't be mad at her. She puts all the reds and purples back in, but they don't move. The other animals take her.
You were afraid. All you'd known for 13 years was the Master's abuse, so you tried to heal them.
She doesn't want to see other animals. They're not real. They can't be real. They can't see her. If the animals can see her, then this is real. But it can't be. The wires, the chains, the hitting. This doesn't happen to her. It's another girl. A dirty girl. A stupid girl. She deserves it. It happens to her. Doesn't it? They see her, so it's real. She doesn't want it to be real.
I'm going to take a step towards you now. Okay?
No, she's no good. Don't want to be handled again.
What happened to your parents?
She sees them. They're yelling, "Run! Hide!" They hit the Masters. But the Masters, they have lights and hoses. Daddy's... he's melting. Shh! She doesn't want to see that. Don't make her look. Don't look! Stupid, stupid!
I know it hurts, Talitha. I'm sorry. But you need to deal with this. What happened to them? Think.
When she thinks, water comes out of her eyes. The Masters beat her when she wastes water. So she doesn't think anymore. She sees them. Mommy and Daddy. Burning in white light, melting, going to pieces. They can't even say anything to her. They're dead, Shepard. They try to save her and the Masters burn them. Can she stop remembering now, please?
I'm going to take a step towards you now. Okay?
She doesn't want... Don't touch her!
What's the last thing you remember from Mindwar?
Fires. Smells of smoke and burning meat. Animals screaming as the Masters cage them. As they put the metal to their backs. Put the wires in their brains. She pretends to be dead. If she's dead, she can't work. But they know. She hopes they'll leave. But they put her in the pen. She didn't fight. She was already broken when they put the wires in.
Talitha, you were what, 6 years old? No one blames you for staying quiet and hoping they'd go away. The only person blaming you is you.
She wants to believe that. She wants to believe nothing would change. She doesn't want to be there anymore. In the pen, in the cages, lying quiet while they do things to her.
I'm going to take a step towards you now. Okay?
Please don't touch her. She's dirty. You'll catch it.
I was on Mindwar. My parents died in the raid.
Lying. You get hit for lying. Get the buzz or the burning. Can't be there. Why are you alive? Why are you? Why aren't you like her? Broken. Only fit to dig and carry.
For a while, I was broken. I lost my whole family, Talitha. My friends, my childhood. I had to pull myself up and keep going.
You lose your mommy and daddy, but you don't dig, you don't carry. You stand up. She wishes she could stand up.
Talitha, this will make you sleep. If you fall asleep, they'll take you to a place where you can get better.
Will she have bad dreams?
You'll dream of a warm place, and when you wake up, you'll be in it.
She'd like that. It hurts when I remember me. But she wants to remember.
That girl knocked out.
Is it over, Commander?
She took the sedative. She wants to get better, Lieutenant.
Thanks, Commander. That means a lot. I didn't want to hurt her. It's just when I see her curled into a ball and shivering. She was only 6 when they took her. Why the hell are we out here if we can't even keep one little girl safe?
Bad things happen to good people, Lieutenant. That's why you and I are here. Don't wring your hands over her. Help her.
Yes, sir. Thanks for your help, Commander. We are taking her to a counseling center. They'll help her get better.
Yep. When good people do nothing.
In breaking news, Chairman Burns of the Parliament Subcommittee on Transhuman Studies has been kidnapped by biotic extremists. The biotics commandeered a freighter and were last seen in the Hades Gamma Cluster. No demands have yet been made.
I'm not going to do this reporter joint right now.
Commander Shepard?
Presidium. She's next to the embassies. I don't know. I felt good doing that mission. Him. I want to do that right now as well. So much stuff to do. So many decisions to make. I like that about this game. You gotta live with the decisions that you make too. Can't change them. And they carry over from one game to the next. Alright, here's Nasana. That's a nice dress. Red and white. And black. My favorite colors.
Commander Shepard, I am Nasana Dantius. I see you got my message.
It sounded like you needed some help.
I do. My sister Dahlia is a crewman on the cargo vessel operating out beyond the fringes of the Traverse. Her ship was attacked by privateers. There were no reported survivors.
I'm sorry for your loss.
This is where it gets complicated. Last week, I received a message with her voice on it. Dahlia is alive. The rest of the crew was killed, but she was taken prisoner. The slavers demanded a huge ransom from me in exchange for returning her unharmed.
Why didn't the raiders kill Dahlia along with everyone else?
My sister probably told them who she was. My family's very wealthy, Shepard. They must have realized she was worth more to them alive.
Coming up with the ransom seems like the best way to ensure Dahlia's safety.
That's what I thought. I did what they wanted, transferred the funds to the account they specified. Only they never released her. They haven't contacted me since. I've made a terrible mistake, Shepard. I'm a diplomatic emissary. By law, I'm required to report any attempted extortion to CSEC immediately. But I was afraid for Dahlia, so I just paid the ransom. Now she's still missing. And if anyone finds out what I did, I could end up in jail.
I'm not going to say it's a stupid law. It's there for a reason. If you don't report crimes, no one can fight it. Especially if you are someone who is told to uphold the law. So taking the law into your own hands is never a smart idea, no matter how much it hits home. And I know that's hard. I know that I only speak for what the standard is. Because I know right now, if something happened to my wife and it was something like this, I would be going out trying to hurt them. So pray for me that that never happens.
You want me to find her and bring her back?
You only need to bring her back. I've already found her for you. I tracked the ransom payment through several accounts. Eventually, it led to a small mercenary band operating out of the Artemis Tau cluster. I need you to go to the Merc base, take them out, and bring my sister back. You shall be well rewarded.
Can't you hire someone else to do this?
I do not want to take chances with my sister's life. I need a Spectre. Besides, you operate outside official channels. My superiors cannot find out I never reported the ransom in the first place.
How'd you find out who was behind the ransom?
I have resources. Contacts and credits can go a long way, especially if you're willing to bend the rules. I already broke the law when I paid the ransom. This couldn't make things any worse.
Anything you can tell me about the mercs who have your sister?
Pretty much what you'd expect. Rough, dangerous, and well-armed. Nothing a Spectre cannot handle, though.
Don't worry. I'll bring your sister back.
Thank you, Shepard. I knew you were the right man for the job. Come back and see me when the job is done.
Okay, and so we're going to do this because it's a holiday weekend for me. And we're going to do a specialty of doing 2 hours of playing today. Alright, so we're going... I'm not going to talk to Samesh Bhatti, yes. Even though I already know pretty much everybody's seasick. I know everyone's... I know all the stories to this game. I've played it too many times. But some of the stuff I do forget, like her.
In remembrance of Eden Prime, we present another profile in courage with serviceman Nirali Bhatia. A devoted wife and talented chef, serviceman Bhatia joined the Alliance military under the Deferred Education Plan. After finishing her service, Bhatia planned to open a restaurant. Instead, she gave her life protecting the colonists of Eden Prime. For more profiles in courage, or to explore opportunities in the military, please visit the Alliance military on the extranet. Keyword, courage.
You okay, Tali? Kind of jumpy there. Oh. Okay, so something more for the codex.
Stand by, shore party. Decontamination in...
Computer fast.
The commanding officer is aboard. XO Presley stands relieved.
That was on the Xbox. I'll be going back and forth a few times across my characters. Didn't even really get across my character. I think I moved too fast. Let me get out of this because I don't really know where I'm going. Journal. Sorry, diplomat. Artemis Tau Cluster. All right. So that's where we're going. Argo, Gemini, Anakin, Voyager, Hades Gambit. Here we go. I think this is where I was at. Was it? Yeah, I think this was the same place. All right, let's try. Let's take a look at this. I mean, there's so much stuff that goes on, so many people's lives. It's kind of weird. I was talking to some of the youth that I work with, that I mentor with the other day, and I was telling them if everybody followed God's way of living, everyone would be happy without encroaching on anyone else's happiness. But people don't want to do that, so I think this is where I was at, and I'll do Rex and Tali. I think this is where I was at previously. What was that? And that's the crazy thing. Yeah, that's a distress signal. That's a debris. Modified Solarian. Or maybe it wasn't here. I thought it was here. Let's go to this, let's go there. No, there will be no killing because... So no one would die. People would actually deal with their grievances with one another how God said so. And people would still live. It'll be fair and just. Criminals will be dealt with like they should be dealt with. Ooh. Did I find something else? Ooh, a piece of candy. What's this?
Redeploying.
Yep. Get that survey going on. Get that light metal. Okay. Cool. Alright, now let's go to my that doesn't look like what I'm looking for. It could be. We'll see. After I go over this ridge. Is that the thing that I couldn't get into because I don't have the proper electron? Yeah. Okay, so that's not... Alright. So, that wasn't good. Distress signal, modified Solarian. Okay, so we're going to return to the Normandy and we're going to search the other places because we're going to find this woman. Alright, let's look at Macedon. What's that? Shargilla? Shargilla has a very dense atmosphere of ammonia and oxygen. Its temperature surface is mainly composed of alumina, and deposits of sulfur. Convoys in the system have recently logged a number of unregistered vessels operating nearby. Shargilla has an extensive silicone base, oxygen-breathing ecology. Heavily populated areas are covered with fine silicon dioxide, dust, and the respiratory byproduct of the world's higher animal forms. High-speed surface winds, often laden with abrasive silica dust, present a hazard in areas where the wind deposits a great deal of silica. Footing can be treacherous. EVAs are discouraged. I forgot what EVA meant. Anyway, orbital period is the same as Earth's. The radius is 5693K. The day length is... That's a lot of hours in a day. I'd be able to work that. Same year as the Earth's too. 40 hour, 0.6. Get a lot done. Atmospheric pressure 39.16 of Earth's atmosphere. Surface temperature is it's not that warm, I don't think. 20, yeah. And the gravity is, ooh. Anyway, I'm gonna go with Rex and Tali again. Back to what I was saying, relationships would be a little bit better because everyone would be trying to work on their own relationship. Anomaly there, stronghold there, debris there, stronghold, that could be this place. So let's go there. Whoops. Let's go here first. So there are more women on the planet than men. So unfortunately, what that means is that everyone wants to have their own, and we have to take into account that not everyone wants to be married. Then, you know, no one will be fighting over women, so there should be less wars. And if we respected everyone, then there would be no territorial wars. And if we weren't as greedy for gain, then, you know, everyone would have enough. This looks like a fight could break out somewhere over here. Oh, man. Alright. So this is going to be kind of a pain to get up there. All right. Oh, I didn't even have to go up. All right.
Going out.
Open crate. Shotgun and a sniper rifle. Cool. I'm gonna check that sniper rifle out. Let's get back in here.
Redeploying.
The sorry capsule. Let's recover what's in here. Boop, 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 boop. Matriarch's writing. It's not clear who lived here, but it appears to have been abandoned for some time. The container is in the tent, held among other things one of Matriarch Delinagus writings. I wonder did he mention her in like the lore of anything. What's up, Rex?
Let's get moving.
Okay, we'll do that. However, I do see that there is something else over here, so I'm gonna attempt to get it. Because we kind of got a completionist mentality going on. Alright. Romping around. Oh, there it is. That wasn't as bad. Alright, so we're just going to park right there. Hop out. Come along this side. We're going to. Alright, we're going to park right here. And we're going to survey this. Begin that. Alright. Rare mineral, you have successfully surveyed the thorium. Alright. Hop up in there. And we're going to take and go here. Trying to think of what the other things. So people wouldn't be stealing. People would be dealing with stuff. Fathers would be taking care of their children. Rape wouldn't be an issue. Child slavery wouldn't be an issue. Sex trafficking wouldn't be an issue. If everyone just followed what God's word says. But because we don't, we have what we have. And that's, I guess it's perfectly fine, because God does not want to force people to do anything. He gives us all a freedom of choice, even though our choice is never beyond his divine will. Which, I'll let you guys rack your brain over that, because that's how powerful my God is. He can allow you to choose, but he already knows what your choice is going to be. But you are making the choice. And so you would be like, well, Legend, if that's the problem, if that's the actual thing, then am I really making a choice? Did he talk to you? Did he tell you to make the choice? Or is it just me? 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 Or is it You just decided it. He allowed everything to happen to you in your life, for you to come to the point of making the choice that you choose to make. However he knows it. Okay, we're gonna manual bypass this thing, come over here. And I'm gonna take all that. And I'm going to see if I can get a better sniper. Do I have a better sniper? Got more damage. I can... Wait a minute, hold up. Which one? Hammer 3. Let's go with the hammer 3. Let's equip that. Transfer everything off and see if I can put something in here. Improve sighting. Yeah, let's do improved sighting. Because it's a sniper rifle. Let's hop back in here and let's go and have our fight. And that's why God is so great. He loves us. He wants us all to have the best life. But the best life is that we possibly can have is when we actually follow and pretty much obey Him. And so while everyone's searching and trying to have their best life, they're doing it outside of His will. And He's the creator of humans, so He knows what is good and what's good for us. And we're trying to substitute everything. Much like your car can run on water for its fuel source for a little bit. It can still work, but it's not meant to it. It's not meant to do that. And so, while you can work off of that particular fuel source to help out, it's not really going to do much in the long run to help you. Something's going to go up, something's going to be wrong, and eventually something's going to break down. However, if you do the proper fuel source and you do the proper maintenance, the car will last the way it should, because of that's how the maker made it. We don't want to do what the maker has told us to do, and so we got issues. Anyway, let's get into this fight real quick. Oh, snap. I did not know this thing shoots more than once. It's pretty cool. Oh, that's a Krogan. get her, Rex. That's horrible. You discover evidence that the Asari leading these slavers and the Sania Danches, an important ambassador on the Citadel, are sisters. Oh, okay. I've been duped. My decryption is too low, so I'm gonna have to come back here later on. Hope I remember. There will be better accountability within marriages. Because everyone won't be treating their marriage so secretive that when they have problems, they'll be not trying to get help. And so they'll have that accountability there to make things better in marriages. Whether it's issues with sex, issues with talking with one another, whatever it is, people will be encouraged to love the person that they went to the altar for and pledged their undying love before God and whomever was there. But without wanting that, we have high divorce rates because if we want to focus on the people in the Bible who was either a good husband or a good wife, none of them are in good situations. All right, I got all of that there, and I'm gonna head back to Nasana. You got Abraham, who told his wife Sarai, who name was changed to Sarah, who told her to lie because he married a dime piece. His wife was apparently super beautiful. That when she was 90 years old, he thought that the men would kill him because they weren't godly people and steal his wife. So he told his wife to lie and say that she was his sister, even though that's a half truth. They were half sisters, half brother and sister. It was his half sister. That's what I mean to say. And so he allowed his wife, instead of being the protector completely of her, he was not the protector. He allowed her to be captured and possibly almost raped to save his own skin. So that's an example in the Bible. It's not a good example of a good husband, but it's an example in the Bible. And so the Bible gives us examples of what to do and what not to do. And that definitely was what not to do. We have King David, who was a man after God's own heart.
Equalizing interior pressure with exterior atmosphere.
He was a man.
Logged. The commanding officer is ashore. XO Presley has the deck.
Every time I visit the Citadel, CSEC brings me here for a friendly chat.
When I first arrived on the Citadel, I spent nearly 3 hours being questioned by the officers here before they would let me enter the wards.
Racism, or speciesism, or however you want to call it. But I forgot what I was about to say.
You Quarians messed up the whole galaxy when you let the Geth break free. Do your people ever talk about it?
Do the Krogan talk about starting a foolish war that resulted in the Turians sterilizing your people?
All the time.
One person can handle the shots fired, the other one can't. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the Presidium, and we're gonna talk to this Nasanta Dantius lady. She sent me to kill her sister. That's kind of messed up.
Excuse me, Commander Shepard. Could you spare a moment of your time?
I'll be over there in a minute. I wish you could tell them that in this game. I mean, in games. Alright, so what am I going to do with her? Am I going to turn her in because she used me? Am I going to seek justice? And I was trying to help her, but, you know, yeah, let's find out. We'll see. I mean, she is wearing my nice colors. Could a pretty face turn my head? Could it turn my justice? Find out right now on this episode of Mass Effect.
Yes, Shepard? Did you find my sister?
Dahlia's dead. I killed her myself. If you don't want to end up like her, start talking.
No need to raise your voice, Commander. Surely you can understand why I lied to you. If people found out my sister was a criminal, I'd be considered a security risk. They'd revoke my clearance, or place me on administrative leave until she was apprehended. That is why I misled you. I could not risk you exposing me. But now that Dahlia is out of the picture, it's no longer a problem.
I would have helped if you just told me the truth.
Perhaps you're right. I am sorry. We have trust issues in my family.
Obviously.
I shall transfer a little something into your account as a token of my appreciation. I'm sure you'll find the amount satisfactory.
You're a diplomat on her way up the ranks. It could be handy to have a Spectre who owes you a favor.
You make a good point. Anyone can come up with credits, but I can give you authorization to purchase prototype Asari mods. I will get you added to our manufacturer's preferred client list. I think you'd be very interested in what they have available. Goodbye, Shepard. It has been a pleasure doing business with you.
Okay. That's interesting. That guy wishes more humans were here. It's probably because he wants to talk to somebody he doesn't alone. He can talk to the bartender. Or that guy.
Believe the rumors. Consort would never reveal her secrets.
Of course she would. She'd be tossed out the nearest airlock if she did.
I suppose. Besides, Nick, the consort's nothing like the girls back on the colonies. She's...
You don't have to do it with her. You can just talk to her if you want.
Is that all you did, Jazz? Just talk?
I didn't say that.
Ha! I bet you did too.
Shut up, Fredericks.
Okay, that's horrible. Talking about getting freaky with an Asari. The same Asari. Alright, let's talk to Samesh. Deal with some ethical issues.
Excuse me, Commander Shepard. Could you spare a moment of your time? Commander Shepard, my name is Samesh Bhatia. Forgive the intrusion, but I have nowhere else to turn.
It's no trouble. What can I do for you?
My wife was a Marine. She was in the 212 on Eden Prime. I've requested that my wife's body be returned to me for cremation, but the military has refused my request.
Why did they refuse your request? There's got to be some reason.
I don't know. All I know is that they have declared it impossible for my wife to be returned to me.
We'll look into it.
The man in charge of my case is Mr. Bosker. When I last saw him, he was in the expensive bar over there. Thank you for your time. I just want to give my wife a proper funeral, and the respect she deserves.
Okay. There's no bar over there. Move, Rex. There's no bar over there. The only bar that's over there is Shaira's. And Shaira's is not a bar. Right? I understand what they did. That's probably one of the animations that they have inside of dialogue. They just didn't program it to point in a different direction. Or they could have set him up to where he was facing this way, so that when he pointed, he would have pointed over there. But that's just me. Maybe they don't care about that. I mean, as gamers, we look at those types of things, but you know, it's not really a big problem. I was confused until I came here and I saw the name. I was like, oh, that guy, because he wasn't there when you first came here, so he must have been here for another mission. Let's talk to him real quick.
My goodness, you're Commander Shepard. Your activities made for quite a briefing in the diplomatic corps. Is there something I can do to assist you?
I'm here on behalf of Samesh Bhatia for his wife, Nirali.
Serviceman Nirali Bhatia died on Eden Prime, as Mr. Bhatia no doubt told you. Her wounds are inconsistent with any type of weapon damage we've seen before. That is why her body is being held.
You think her body might be dangerous or contaminated?
No, Commander. Nirali Bhatia is not dangerous. Her body is in fact extremely valuable to the Alliance. The tests we're conducting may lead to better defenses against Geth attacks. Respectfully, Serviceman Bhatia may save more lives in death than she did in life.
I'm gonna investigate, but
How long do you think the research is going to take?
This is a long-term study. I wouldn't expect the bodies to be released for a year or longer.
You've got to have a lot of bodies. Can't you release one?
Very few bodies had this new type of weapon damage, and very few were in good enough condition to study. Beyond that, Commander, we need as many bodies as we can to get a reasonable sample size.
When will this research result in actual new technology?
If we're lucky, we'll actually realize usable technology from this study in a few years.
I understand what you're trying to do, but holding the body is wrong.
Commander, you of all people should understand how far we must go to protect humanity.
Not if we lose our humanity in the process. I'm out there fighting to stop crap like this.
All right, Commander.
Yep.
You win. It was hard enough refusing Mr. Bhatia. I'm not going to risk an incident by refusing you. Tell Samesh that the body is being shipped back to Earth. I'll go now to see to it myself.
What you gotta say about that, Rex?
I could use a snack. Think there's any fish out in that lake?
Maybe you, Tolly?
They built a lake on a space station. I can't even imagine the resources needed to maintain it.
We just had that existential conversation and you guys talking about a lake? Alright, let's talk to Samesh. Yeah, I don't care for research like that. Find a better way to research. I mean, granted, the body's dead. Soul and spirit's no longer with the body. It left the moment the body, well, the person died. So the body is for the, what happens to the body is for the people who are left living. But I'm not going to violate anyone's rights to do some research.
Hello again, Commander. Has there been any word?
I reminded Mr. Bosker what we're fighting for. Your wife is coming home.
Thank you. I will return home and begin my preparations. It does not bring me happiness, but it may bring me peace. Goodbye, Commander.
What she saved! That'll bring you peace. Anyway. What else am I going to do? This is a long playthrough. I usually get restless after 2 hours of playing games. I used to play games like all the time, but now I guess I'll finish the codex stuff that we had at the beginning that was being spoken about. Yeah. Take a look at that. Primary, let's do, where was I at? Ships and vehicles.
Faster than light drives use element zero cores to reduce the mass of the ship. allowing higher rates of acceleration. This effectively raises the speed of light within the mass effect field, allowing high-speed travel with negligible relativistic time dilation effects. Starships still require conventional thrusters, chemical rockets, commercial fusion torch, economy ion engine, or military anti-proton drive, in addition to the FTL drive core. With only a core, a ship has no motive power. The amount of EZO and power required for a drive increases exponentially to the mass being moved and the degree it is being lightened. Very massive ships, or very high speeds, are prohibitively expensive. If the field collapses while the ship is moving at faster than light speed, the effects are catastrophic. The ship is snapped back to sublight velocity, the enormous excess energy shed in the form of lethal Cherenkov radiation.
I would have to look that up. I don't know what type of radiation that is, but radiation, I've never known it to be anything good. Not for humans.
Larger warships are
We've already
generally
done
classified
those.
in one of four weights. The Normandy is a prototype starship developed by the Human Systems Alliance with the assistance of the Citadel Council. It is optimized for scouting and reconnaissance missions in unstable regions using state-of-the-art stealth technology. For most ships, the heat generated through standard operations is easily detectable against the absolute zero background of space. The Normandy, however, is able to temporarily sink this heat within the hull. Combined with refrigeration of the exterior hull, the ship can travel undetected for hours or drift passively for days of covert observation. This is not without risk. The stored heat must eventually be radiated, or it will build to levels capable of cooking the crew alive. Another component of the stealth system is the Normandy's revolutionary Tantalus drive, a mass effect core twice the standard size. The Tantalus drive generates mass concentrations that the Normandy falls into, allowing it to move without the use of heat-emitting thrusters.
Which is kind of weird because they mentioned that in other ships, the same type of thing as far as cooking the crew alive is there. Kind of really takes away the special quality of the Normandy. But I guess with it all put together nicely, and someone who analyzes ships or probably knows more about ships will probably correct me. And I hope they do, because I don't like to be wrong. And if I am wrong, I have no problem admitting that I am wrong. So that's pretty cool. Teach me, somebody who's into ships and all kinds of things like that. Maybe the rocket scientists may eventually get to my page. That'd be nice.
Ship mobility dominates space combat. The primary objective is to align the mass accelerator along the bow with the opposing vessel's broadside. Battles typically play out as artillery duels, fought at ranges measured in thousands of kilometers, though assaults through defended mass relays often occur at knife fight ranges, as close as a few dozen kilometers. Most ship-to-ship engagements are skirmishes between patrol vessels of cruiser weight and below, with dreadnoughts and carriers only deployed in full-scale fleet actions. Battles in open space are short and often inconclusive, as the weaker opponent typically disengages. Once a ship enters FTL flight, the combat is effectively over. There are no sensors capable of tracking them, or weapons capable of damaging them. The only way to guarantee an enemy will stand and fight is to attack a location they have a vested interest in, such as a settled world or a strategically important mass relay. The Mako infantry fighting vehicle was designed for the System Alliance's frigates. Though the interior is cramped, an M35 is small enough to be carried in the cargo bay and easily deployed on virtually any world. With its turreted 155mm mass accelerator and coaxially mounted machine gun, the Mako can provide a fire team with weapon support as well as mobility. Since Alliance Marines may be required to fight on any world, the Mako is environmentally sealed and equipped with microthrusters for use on low-gravity planetoids. The Mako is powered by a sealed hydrogen-oxygen fuel cell and includes a small Element Zero core. While not large enough to nullify the vehicle's mass, the core can reduce it enough to be safely airdropped. When used in conjunction with thrusters, it also allows the Mako to extricate itself from difficult terrain. After the Geth secure, thresher maws are subterranean carnivores that spend their entire lives eating or searching for something to eat. Threshers reproduce via spores that can lie dormant for millennia, yet are robust enough to survive prolonged periods in deep space and atmospheric re-entry. As a result, thresher spores appear on many worlds, spread by previous generations of space travelers. The body of a thresher never entirely leaves the ground. Only the head and tentacles erupt from the earth to attack. In addition to physical attacks, threshers have the ability to project toxic chemicals and emit bursts of infrasound as a shockwave weapon. The Alliance first encountered threshers on the colony of Akuz in 2177. After contact was lost with the Pioneer team, Marine units were deployed to investigate. The shore parties were set upon by hungry threshers, and nearly the entire assault force was killed. Alliance forces recommend engaging threshers with vehicle-mounted heavy weapons.
Or when you're about to kill them, you can pop out of your Mako and take the last few shots and get additional experience, I believe.
In the early 2160s, the Alliance began aggressive colonization of worlds in the Skyllian Verge, much to the dismay of the Batarians, who had been developing the region for several decades. In 2171, the Batarians petitioned the Council to declare the Verge a zone of Batarian interest. The Council refused, however, declaring unsettled worlds in the region open to human colonization. In protest, the Batarians closed their Citadel embassy and severed official diplomatic relations with the Council, effectively becoming a rogue state. They instigated a proxy war in the Verge by funneling money and weapons to criminal organizations, urging them to strike at human colonies. Hostilities peaked with the Skyllian Blitz of 2176, an attack on the human capital of Elysium by Batarian-funded pirates and slavers. In 2178, the Alliance retaliated with a crushing assault on the moon of Torfin, long used as a staging base by Batarian-backed criminals. In the aftermath, the Batarians retreated into their own systems and are now rarely seen in Citadel space.
Well, once again, that would be an awesome video game. Maybe they should come up with a game of wars, just to go through all the wars that have happened in the Mass Effect series. Alright, is that everything? Nope. Got weapons and armor.
Combat hard suits use a dual layer. A mass accelerator propels a solid metal slug using precisely controlled electromagnetic attraction and repulsion. The slug is designed to squash or shatter on impact, increasing the energy it transfers to the target. If this were not the case, it would simply punch a hole right through, doing minimal damage. Accelerator design was revolutionized by Element Zero. A slug lightened by a mass effect field can be accelerated to greater speeds, permitting projectile velocities that were previously unattainable. If accelerated to a high enough velocity, a simple paint chip can impact with the same destructive force as a nuclear weapon. However, mass accelerators produce recoil equal to their impact energy. This is mitigated somewhat by the mass effect fields that rounds are suspended within. But weapon recoil is still the prime limiting factor on slug velocity. All modern infantry weapons, from pistols to assault rifles, use micro-scaled mass accelerator technology. Projectiles consist of tiny metal slugs suspended within a mass-reducing field, accelerated by magnetic force to speeds that inflict kinetic damage. The ammo magazine is a simple block of metal. The gun's internal computer calculates the mass needed to reach the target based on distance, gravity, and atmospheric pressure, then shears off an appropriate-sized slug from the block. A single block can supply thousands of rounds, making ammo a non-issue during any engagement. Top-line weapons also feature smart targeting that allows them to correct for weather and environment. Firing on a target in a howling gale feels the same as it does on a calm day at the practice range. Smart targeting does not mean a bullet will automatically find the mark every time the trigger is pulled. It only makes it easier for the marksman to aim.
That's hilarious. I believe they got rid of this whole technology in the second game. Oh no, more on ships and vehicles and personnel history and summary? No, that's just because I'm on it. Okay. Alright. This will probably be the last thing. Weapon Guardian. I don't even know what this is. A general's area defense integration anti-spacecraft network. Guardian consists of anti-missiles, anti-fighter laser turrets on the exterior hull. Because these are under computer control, the gunnery-controlled officer needs to do little beyond turn the system on and designate targets as hostile. Since lasers move at light speed, they cannot be dodged by anything moving at non-relativistic speeds. Unless the beam is aimed poorly, it will always hit its target. In the early stages of battle, the Guardian fires its 100%. The Guardian's fire is 100% accurate. It is not 100% lethal, but it doesn't have to be. Damaged fighters must break off for repairs. Lasers are limited by diffraction. The beam spreads out, decreasing the energy density watts per millimeter 2. I'm not familiar with that. The weapon can place on a target. Any high-powered laser is a short-range weapon. Guardian networks have other limitations. Heat. Weapon-grade lasers require cooldown time, during which heat is transferred to sinks or radiators. As laser fire, heat builds within them, reducing damage, range, and accuracy. Fighter attacks and swarms. The first few will be hit by Guardian, but as battle continues, the effects of laser overheat allows the attackers to press ever closer to a ship. Constant use will burn out the laser. Guardian lasers typically operate in infrared frequencies. Shorter frequencies would offer superior stopping power and range, but degeneration of focal arrays and mirrors would make them expensive to maintain, and most prefer mechanical reliability over bleeding range performance where lives are concerned. Solarians, however, use near ultraviolet frequencies near ultraviolet frequency lasers with 6 times the range, believing that having additional time to shoot down incoming missiles is more important. Lasers are not blocked by the kinetic barriers of capital ships. However, the range of lasers limit their use to rare knife fights, range ship-to-ship combat. Woo! Okay. So that's a lot we've done today. We read through a lot of lore. I went into a few planets, got duped by a politician, spoke on some things. Well, now it's time for all this to end. And as I always say, if this is your last piece of entertainment, which I do hope it is, I hope that you'll take this time to do something a little bit more meaningful. Work on your body, work on your diet, work on something that'll better you. Work on that story, work on that musical piece, 3D animation, whatever it is, gymnastics, something. I know you got to be working on something, or you should be, because everyone has a gift and everyone should be using their gift that they may benefit others, because your gift is not for you. The gift or talent that you have is for someone else. Anyway, this is your boy, Legend Muyui, out.